Yo, welcome back to Inside the Lunchbox. This is your boy, Chef Mac. Once again, we're back doing what we do, and you know who else I have here with me? The one and only.
The Leviticus Maximus on the button pushing. How we doing this week, Chris?
Hey, I'm doing good, man. I had a semi-decent week. Can't complain. I'm alive.
Yeah.
Any day above ground is a great day.
That is very true. As coming from a cancer survivor, every day above ground is a great
It's
day.
a good day. What about you, man?
I'm doing good. Had a great week. Actually, 2 weeks since last time we recorded an episode. I was able to meet up with one of the Food Not Bombs organizers, one of those guys we interviewed for the video,
Yes,
and he gave me an update on the case.
Yes.
So the case as it stands right now is in federal court, and there is an injunction. So the Houston Police Department can no longer give them tickets until the case is resolved, and the case looks like it's going to favor Food Not Bombs.
Awesome.
So with all that being said, the city of Houston has now filed a motion to have the case dismissed, because if Food Not Bombs wins this case, then they will be allowed with their through federal courts orders to serve hungry people. So
Nice.
City of Houston's fighting it, but it looks like right now Food Not Bombs is still in the fight. It might have to go to trial, but we will see.
We will see.
So update as well. For those who observe, you will know that Ramadan starts on the 10th of this month. That is next Sunday evening. For those who do observe Ramadan, I wish you a blessed Ramadan. As well as we are in the middle of Lent. Both of these holidays revolve around fasting and food and community, as well as spiritual guidance. And so for those of our community that do observe Lent, I wish you an encouragement in your journey of faith.
Awesome. Man, just give you a quick little story. When I spent some time in Kuwait, and during the Ramadan season, They fast during the day, and in their last call of prayer, they go and break their fast, and then they go out and eat. And I tell you, man, from the time they're allowed to eat till about 2 o'clock in the morning, they're eating all night, they're partying all night, they're having a blast. And I had some really good times during that time of the season.
When I did a deployment in the Eastern Med, it landed around Ramadan as well as Lent, because they both land roughly in the same time of year. Most of the time. So being coming from my Baptist background, I was not aware of either holidays or observances. And so I was on a destroyer, and I was serving with people who were practicing Catholics, and they were mentioning the fact that, like, hey, how come our menu does not have anything for Lent? Like, you guys serve chicken all the time, but I want to give up chicken for Lent. You should have non-chicken options in the cafeteria. Or options for people who are observing some form of Lent. Yeah, right?
Exactly.
And then we would pull into Haifa, and there would be Arab or Muslim communities around there, and we would get there during the day, and none of them, like, their shops would be closed, not a whole lot going on. But then in the evenings, they would open up and actually start eating. And that was my first, like, in-person observing of people of these faiths who do practice these holidays, and it's always been, it's just one of those things I wasn't aware of. Even with my same Christian background, I didn't know a whole lot about Lent. I didn't know a whole lot about Ash Wednesday. Good things, good education happening.
Yep, a lot of good stuff going on. And so today's topic,
it's a spicy one.
It's definitely a concern of mine. I have 2 teenage boys. One has just recently turned 18, so he's graduating. But my other one is 14, so he still has 4 more years left of school. And my kids always text me about school lunches. So we're going to talk about school lunches and prison food, what they eat in prison and how they eat in here in Conroe ISD, how they eat. They will send me pictures of the type of food that they're eating, and it's really horrendous. I'm just going to be honest with you. So today our topic is school lunches and prison food. So the concern I have is, are our kids eating the right food, the right nutritional value? Are they being fed correctly? Are they full when they get done eating?
I mean, just looking at the menu. So I'm looking at one of Conroe's high school menus right now for next week's food. And for Monday, March 4th, they have one do-it-yourself beef chili hot dog, which seems okay-ish if it's actually made well. And then it has, or your other option is an uncrustable PB&J with chips. With that, you get some sweet potato fries, some green beans, pineapple, apple, or orange juice. Now, I was a teenager at one point in time. That would not have filled me up for lunch.
No, not one, just one PB&J and one chili hot dog.
That's what it says.
Wow, that's
unless these kids are allowed to go back for seconds, but I don't know that they are in school.
I don't think they are, because I asked my son, like, yeah, we go back to seconds. No, he said they can't go back to seconds. And
right.
Most kids have to pay for their lunch.
Some kids, and so Conroe ISD a couple of years ago, you stopped giving away free school meals, and you have to pay for them.
Yeah.
So from my understanding, this meal costs anywhere from $3 to $5.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And
right?
and while you can't go to McDonald's and get a good meal for $3 to $5, but I also don't pay taxes to McDonald's.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the problem I have. We pay taxes. I think their lunch should be a little bit better. Just to give you an example, my son sent me a photo of their chicken wings and potato wedges, I think it was. And this chicken was pink in the inside and white on the outside. It looked like it literally looked like they took the chicken wings and put it in a pot of water, boiled it, and then put it on a tray with like 3 or 4 potato fries.
At least put some barbecue sauce on that. Good grief.
Right? So I'm like, I'm really, just me being a chef and me being a person that loves food, and they're not taking the love and the pride in their food and feeding our future kids or the future of America, like, correctly. Like,
and here's another example, right? So they have 9 turkey nuggets with garlic breadstick, or 1 pizza boli. I don't know what that is, but something. Or, again, 1 PB&J. With that comes curly fries, some steamed vegetables, and an applesauce cup. I don't know what teenager could live off of, as a meal, 9 chicken nuggets. I mean, in this case, they're turkey nuggets, but same thing.
Yeah.
Right? Like I couldn't. I was 16 once. My mom used to complain that me and my brother and our sisters would eat her out of house and home when we were teenagers.
Right.
And I was a skinny kid.
Right.
You're giving me 9 turkey nuggets, some steamed vegetables, and an applesauce cup, and that's lunch?
So
that's a snack.
So we called my sister right before the show. She's a teacher in Atlanta, Georgia. And one of the school districts that she was in right before she decided to go to a private school and teach, they actually hired a chef.
Right.
So their chef, they actually have a chef, not a kitchen worker, that cooks their food. And they're having collard greens, candied yams, sweet potatoes, right?
Right.
I think she said, was it chicken, like buffalo chicken, cornbread. Like, this stuff doesn't take 2 seconds to make. This stuff actually takes some love to make. Like, cornbread, you got to mix the recipe and mix your ingredients in there and put it in the oven. The greens, you got to cook that for a couple hours. Then your wings, like, it actually has love. So they're eating soul food pretty much every day for lunch. And so my sons, they'll call me, or I'll come home from work and I'm like, hey, how was your day? Did you eat? And a lot of times my kids tell me no. And I tell them, why, man? You got to eat. You go to school, you got to eat. Well, Dad, the school lunch sucked. And I'm like, what do you mean it sucked? And then they start sending me pictures, and I see why they won't eat. Like, and I'm telling my kids, like, you have to eat, because if you don't eat, they're going to contact me and say that, hey, your kid is not eating. Why?
Because the food's not good.
The food is not good. It doesn't fill them up. You might as well just give them a snack and tell them to continue on with their day if you're going to do that.
I mean, basically what I'm reading here is they are just giving them snacks and tell them to go on with their day. But also, here's another deal, right? Like, teenagers are growing. They have muscles. They have bones.
Yes.
They have everything in their body that needs to grow. If you want your children to be healthy as adults, you have to feed them well as children. You have to build those good habits in them. But also, if I take vitamin D now at 36 years old, it's not going to do as much for me if I got proper amount of vitamin D when I was 17.
Yes, exactly. Right? Exactly. And the school talks about, oh, we're giving our kids a balanced lunch. What's balanced about that?
Yeah, even if it is balanced, let's just say you have your meat, you have your protein, you have your starch, and you have your vegetables. Let's just say, so on paper, that's balanced. but in small portions,
Yeah,
it's not doing anything.
It's not doing anything, you know. And then I wonder why I get home and the first thing my kids ask me, yeah, technically they just said that they're not eating because the food is horrible. But now they come home and I'm just getting off work. I have to immediately start cooking something because I know my grown teenagers, my teenage boys that love to eat, and anybody that has teenage boys out there or teenagers in general.
I know your boys love to eat. They ate me out of a couple of pizzas. Good grief. Yeah, so the other day I was over here at Chris's place doing my laundry. I feel like there was an important reason besides that, but I think I was just here abusing your washer and your dryer.
Yeah, you was.
And he had to go to work. And so I'm stuck here with his 18-year-old and his 14-year-old. And they were watching like Legend of Korra, which I have never seen. Great show, by the way. And I decided, I was like, hey, you guys eat pizza? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, okay, so what kind of pizzas do you not eat? Just because I know that sometimes, certain families don't eat like pork or things like that. And so I got an answer about what kind of pizza they would like to have. And I was like, okay, great. So I ordered a extra large cheese pizza from Papa John's. Yes. And then I got an extra large Hawaiian pizza for me from Papa John's. 2 big pizzas. Big. I had a couple slices off of each, sat down, enjoyed the show. Within like 30 minutes, I went back to the pizza boxes, and they were respectful about it. They were like, "Hey, Mr. Levi, are you gonna have any more?" I'm like, "No, I'm not. I'm good with my slices." I go back to the box, and I was thinking there might be some leftovers here for Chris when he gets home from work. He might actually appreciate it.
They don't think about
no,
it.
sir. Gone.
They didn't think about that or anything.
The crumbs in the box were gone.
No. Here's
I was like, "Oh yeah, they're teenagers. This is wild."
So here's another thing. So you ordered the Hawaiian pizza, and my kids.
I mean, those boys ate like at least minimum 6 slices each of a large pizza.
Now this is probably going to make you mad. Like, so they ate the cheese pizza, and they most likely they ate the Hawaiian. But my kids, they don't really eat pork. So they was
the younger one,
they took it off.
The younger one did pick off all the like pineapple and pork off of it. But that's why I ordered the cheese pizza for the younger one. But the older one said he ate Hawaiian pizza. So that's why I felt comfortable ordering it.
Yeah. And the thing about it, it was gone. I came back at 2:00 in the morning, and I looked to the right. I said, pizza box. Where are pizza boxes? I walked over there. Nothing. Gone. I was like, okay, maybe they put it in the refrigerator for me. That is the smart thing to do. Open up the refrigerator. I looked at the refrigerator for 30 seconds. I was like, something's not right here. I was like, I don't even have a slice of breadsticks with garlic or a pizza with garlic. Gone. I'm like, these kids, man.
Gone. Like, so, I can put down some pizza because I'm a big guy.
Yeah.
But even then, both of those teenagers out-ate me in the pizza department that night. And I know they ate before you left. I know you fixed them a meal before you left. So it's not like you didn't feed them that day. Not only did they get a full meal from their dad, they wolfed down Mr. Levi's pizza too. But they're teenagers. Good on them.
It was like, pizza what? Yeah, of course. Yeah, we're not going to stop you from buying pizza.
Yeah. I mean, like, neither of your kids are in any way, shape, or form obese. They look like me when I was their age. Actually, they're a little bit thicker than me when it comes to, like, muscle tone and stuff. But, like they're grown boys. And they should be. Yep. Did you know? And when Chris said earlier that this food problem in our schools, it also goes to our exercise problem in our schools, our athletic programs. Our athletic programs have become profit-making machines for schools. Mm-hmm. They're not about the health of the students. According to the U.S. military, from the last report that I read, and we get some of these through the VFW because in the VFW we're to help promote patriotism and things like that. Yeah. We're supposed to help recruiting and stuff. We don't always do it, but it's part of our mandate. 75% of America's youth is not healthy enough to serve in the military.
Exactly.
And this goes beyond just national defense, right? You have to be of a certain health standards to serve in our military. Yeah. Our kids should be at those health standards whether they're serving or not. And that's just my takeaway from all this.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% on that, Levi. So, I mean, that was just my concern with the school lunches is I think we could do better, a whole lot better. And I was telling both my boys, more so at the time I was telling my 18-year-old, but he's about to graduate now, and my youngest one is getting ready to step into high school. And I was just letting him know, let your voice be heard, man. You go to that school every day. You sit down and eat that lunch every day. Why don't you get a group of your friends, sign a petition, and let your voice be heard. Look, we eat this every day, and it's not good. It is not. I say that it's not healthy because my son sent me a picture of raw chicken. So that is not healthy. That's because they're not taking the time and cooking or even putting the love into the food. So why don't you get together, group of your guys, and matter of fact, you may even get the whole school on board. The whole student body may get on board, and guess what? You will be heard.
Yeah. And if not, I mean, even as like parents, we can get a petition together.
Exactly.
We can go to their trustee meetings and say, hey, why am I seeing this from my kids? Like, you guys are the trustees. We elect you as our school body to oversee our schools. I don't want to be seeing my kids eating what looks like, and I've seen the pictures. It does look like raw chicken.
Yep. So with that being said, let's go ahead and slide over into our other topic, which is prison food. So what we're going to do, we're kind of going to compare the two. Recently, I had the chance to witness the type of food that they were serving in the prisons. If anybody tell you that the prisoners aren't eating well, they may not be eating the healthiest thing, but their plates are full. Their trays are packed.
And to be clear, we can really only discuss like the schools here in Conroe or in the prisons near where we live. I don't know how they're feeding prisoners in Louisiana or Kentucky, but we have seen how they're eating here in Southeast Texas.
Yes. And so with my observation and what I was told, the regulations in the state of Texas is they have to give the prisoners 5 breads a meal. And I can't even think of 5 different types of bread. So what it is they consider...
Is it bread or is it the grains?
No, they said bread. So that's the question I actually asked them was, are you guys talking about like grains or something like that? They was like, no, 5 bread. So they consider a bean, kidney beans, a bread. So
it's starch. Okay.
Yeah, so it's actually a starch.
Yeah.
So with that being said, one of their lunches, sometimes they may have 2 beans on there. Like it may be rice and a bean and then a cornbread or a bread. That'll be their dinner or their lunch. Whatever the case may be.
And that's just the bread part, right? They get vegetables too, right?
And they have vegetables. They may get like a green bean or a corn or whatever. But their plates are pretty stacked.
Good.
Pretty stacked. They process their own meat, their beef and their chicken.
Or they raise them, right? They raise the chickens and the beef.
They raise their own beef. They have I know one unit has about 11 or 12,000 acres where they have cattle.
That's
Yeah.
wow. You just wouldn't think that like the Bureau of Prisons owns that much land, but I guess they do.
Yeah, and that's just one unit, but there's several units where we're at.
So can we get like our independent school districts to own several thousand acres of land to get some beef raising for our kids?
I don't see why we couldn't. I don't see why the school district wouldn't have a local farm where they process their own food and their own meat and stuff like that, because the prison systems does it.
Right.
And if you have
But the prisoners are also not in the metropolitan areas, right?
No,
they ship them all the way out.
You're right.
Our kids have to go to school where they live.
You're right. So, but just think about it. Like, where we're at Conroe ISD. I
don't see why they couldn't have like a community garden or something at the school.
Right. So my sister, now where she works at, they have, she works at a private school. They actually have their own garden. Which makes it, I mean, I get it. It's a private school. It may be a little different, but if the state could fund a prison and have them have cattle and raise, why can't, maybe that's an option. Maybe the school districts, they don't have to be something big, just something to help out on the cost. Because it seemed like it's a cost issue.
Yeah, but also taking care of prisoners is a cost issue. You have to have guards. You have to have electricity. You have to have running water. You have to have a million things. You're taking care of grown adults 24 hours a day. Whereas with the schools, they're only having the kids, 8 to 10 hours a day for 5 days a week?
And they're only serving them 1 meal, not 3.
Yeah. Unless they go early for breakfast. I know when my kids were...
2 meals, 2 meals.
I know when my kids were like in elementary school and stuff, if they didn't want to have breakfast early in the morning, they could get breakfast at the school. Now, that's something that I had to pay for, right? Because breakfast wasn't provided. Lunch was, but breakfast wasn't. So if they had breakfast at the school, I would have to put money on their food cards for them, which I had no problem doing. And I would tell them, like, hey, get breakfast. Go back for seconds if you're hungry, because I want my kids to eat.
I think, if I remember correctly, and I could be lying through my teeth, I think one day my son told me that for breakfast they had Pop-Tart.
I have the menu in front of me.
I would love, I think that I'm pretty sure that that's what he told me one day, that they had just a Pop-Tart, or maybe it was just a grilled cheese. But yeah, while you're looking at I'm gonna continue
back to the prisons.
Back to the prisons.
Sorry.
No, but so what I'm saying is that, these prisoners, they're getting their breakfast, lunch, and their dinner, and they're eating fairly well. They grow their own chicken, raise their own cattle, and they get it processed through a local company. Tyson actually processes their chicken here.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it was really, really good. So they're not getting the expensive cut. They just the simple processing, and they grow their own veggies and stuff like that. So, and then the inmates are cooking the food, and it's not the best tasting food in the world, but they're getting what they need, plus a little bit more that's going to stick to their bones and get them fed. And and I even had the chance to speak to someone, and they were saying that if you want to get big, eat prison food because it's going to stick to your bones. So the prisoners, they're definitely they're eating well. I'm not gonna say eating well. They're eating what they're supposed to. They're getting fed nicely. It's not the best tasting food. It's not the Olive Garden.
I bet they would love
Cheddar's.
some pepper and salt.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, but yeah. They definitely need some salt and pepper on their food. But with that being said, did you find anything on their breakfast?
Yeah, I'm not incredibly pleased with what I'm finding out. You have you can get a Cinnamon Toast Crunch cereal bar, or a Lucky Charms cereal bar, or a strawberry Pop-Tart, or a fudge Pop-Tart with a mixed fruit cup.
So I guess I was right. I didn't lie through my teeth. A freaking Pop-Tart, man. That, to me, I mean, Pop-Tart is one of those things where...
That is a snack.
Yeah, right?
Emotional damage.
That's what I was paying. That's what I was paying $2 for my kids to have for breakfast.
Yeah, you're paying $3 for a Pop-Tart that costs a pack. It costs 75 cents. Yeah, exactly, man. So I'm sitting here just wondering, why? Why?
Well, if you take anything away from this, parents, please get more involved with what's going on with your kids at school, what's going on with their lunches. This is a problem that can be easily fixed because there are schools where this is not happening at.
Yeah. And this, and like Levi said earlier, this is where we're at. I can't speak for California. I can't speak for New York. I can't speak for Florida. I can't speak for any other state. And I can't speak for any other school districts neither. Even though Conroe ISD is in Texas, I only know Conroe ISD.
Right.
But I'm pretty sure it's probably the same across the state of Texas.
And here's the other deal, right? Just like I didn't know until today how these high school lunches were. Now, my kids are not in high school, and they were in a different school district, so maybe my daughter, I've never heard any complaints about her breakfast that I would buy. But just like I didn't know, I guarantee you there's a lot of parents out there who are not aware of how good or bad their school lunches are. So if your takeaway from this should basically be, hey, let me find out. Just have a sit down talk with your kids. Be like, hey, how are the school lunches? Are you eating enough?
Yeah.
Because, and there have been studies, because I really do care about school lunches on a macro level, not necessarily a micro level, but on a macro level, there are studies out there that show that students who eat well pay attention better in class.
Yes.
Students who eat nutritional meals don't fall asleep and are as drowsy later in the day.
Facts.
Because if you are putting, if you're putting saturated fats in your body, right? Even if you're eating, let's say with the prisoner example, right? They're getting 5 different breads, whereas your kid's getting a Pop-Tart. Even if the portions were the same, right? Which apparently, from what I've seen with those photos, they're not the same. The kids are eating less than the prisoners. But even if the portions were the same, one of those meals is going to actually sustain your human body, while the other meal is going to put saturated fat all over through that child.
Facts.
And this could be why, as the military has stated, that America's children, they don't have strong enough bone density, they're too obese, and they're incapable and they're too unhealthy to serve in the military. And I'm sorry, if you're too unhealthy to serve in the military, you're too unhealthy.
Yep.
It's not that strenuous.
Yep.
At least from my experience.
Now here's the whole. What do you call that? What's that saying? The icing on the cake.
What's that?
They actually have a culinary department with an executive chef at the high school.
At Conroe?
At Conroe High School. They have a whole school program, which my oldest son has been involved with for the last 2 years. And they actually went to Florida, competed in a world competition, and they won first place on one of their meals, and they won the Executive Chef Choice Award. And they cook some great food in there. They even have a whole cafe back there where teachers could go and eat when they decide to want to actually do things up. But from my understanding, they cook that food for the teachers. So you're serving this, but you got a chef on payroll, but you have just kitchen workers in the cafeteria. Just my thought process, why can't that chef also, or you hire another chef or somebody that has some type of knowledge in cooking in the kitchen, and they work together?
I mean, we did just pass those school bonds at the last election last year.
Yeah, we did. So hopefully we'll see something.
Time to get the torches and pitchforks and the protest signs. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. So with all that said and done, I'm going to safely say that I think the prisoners are eating a little bit better than our fellow kids.
And I'm going to agree with you and say that the prisoners should be eating fine. We're not an inhumane nation.
Exactly.
But so should our children.
Yes.
We should treat our own children better than we treat prisoners.
Yes. So,
all right.
What we got
Recipe
next?
of the episode.
Recipe.
And we're going to keep this in the same trend. If y'all remember the last episode, we had a recipe that Chris made about, like, it's easy to make, good for single dads or single parents, mostly store-bought that you can just slap together and still have a great meal.
Exactly. So today, we're going to do spaghetti.
Yes.
Spaghetti.
My favorite meal.
Hey, I love a good spaghetti, man. And with spaghetti, you could actually do a lot of different things with spaghetti. So if you don't want to make spaghetti, you don't have to buy the actual noodles. You can just buy any type of pasta.
You can get, when I say spaghetti, yes, the spaghetti noodles is technically what they're called. When I talk about spaghetti, because the spaghetti that my mom used to make, it was those veggie curled noodles.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
And I don't know why, but that just absolutely slapped, and it was delicious.
Yep.
And what I love about it, because coming from the West, New Mexico, I was raised with like a lot of cowboy culture and whatnot.
Okay.
Spaghetti is a meal that you as a person can make that only gets 2 pans dirty if you do it right. You get 2 pans dirty, and it's everything you need in a bowl.
Okay.
You can have your veggie, you can have your sugar, you can have your protein, and you can have your starch all in one bowl.
Yes.
Fewer dishes to wash after camping.
I could say you're definitely right, but for me, I'm always like, dang, I use a lot of dishes.
Yeah, well, you're a culinary chef. I'm a simple white boy from the West, man.
That's hilarious. But so what I say you do, man, like you could go to your local grocery store, and I'm going to say HEB because I am here in Texas. And by the way, HEB did not pay me to say this, but HEB has their HEB brand food is freaking on point.
It's actually really good.
You cannot miss with HEB brand food. And the reason why is because HEB has their own farms and they process a lot of their own stuff. So with that being said, you can go to the local store, get your favorite brand of spaghetti sauce. Make sure it's spaghetti sauce, people, not marinara. I actually did that one time. But make sure it's spaghetti sauce. And buy your meat of choice.
Sausage or beef.
Or you mix the two.
Or diced chicken.
Or diced chicken.
My mom used to dice up some chicken really nice and pan sear it and whatnot.
Yeah.
And cook it and then throw that in the spaghetti.
Yeah, when my ex, when we ate a lot of chicken spaghetti. Not the chicken spaghetti like where
not with the white Alfredo sauce, no.
Yes.
The actual like marinara chicken, tomato.
Exactly. So you get that, you come home, you ground your meat, use your seasons that you want. It's spaghetti, so spaghetti is a form of an Italian-inspired food, I guess, or Italian food.
I mean, Italian-inspired.
Yeah.
It's definitely Americanized.
Get you some Italian
But they stole the
seasoning.
tomatoes from America to make their spaghetti, so it's fair that we steal it back.
Right? Get your Italian seasoning. Get you some fresh herbs, some fresh basil. Pour your tomato sauce in the pot. My suggestion is to start your spaghetti sauce early. If you're gonna add any type of fresh herbs, and the reason why is because once you bring it up to a boil, lower it down to a simmer. Go ahead and drop your fresh herbs in there that you want, like your basil or your thyme or whatever you want to put in there, and let it simmer for probably about maybe 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So you can incorporate those new flavors you added to it.
Yeah.
And then what I do, some people, they'll take a little water and they'll put in there to kind of stretch it out a little bit. I would go buy some more like Roman tomatoes or the little tomatoes on the little branch or stick or whatever, and I would take those and I would grill those or put them in the oven with some olive oil, salt, and pepper, throw them in the oven, roast them, and then I'll take that and put it inside my spaghetti sauce, and as well, just to add a little bit more flavor to it, I guess. And I would use chicken stock. So I would let that boil while my meat's grounding, and then at the same time have your water boiling for your spaghetti. Don't break the noodles.
It's good. Agree to disagree.
So if you break your noodles, break them. If you don't, it's cool. But put your noodles in your pot, boil them with a little bit of oil.
A little bit of like virgin olive oil, or if you don't have that, you can just take a dab of butter stick, not a whole butter stick. You can like take a dab of butter, depending on how many noodles you have. Throw it in there while the noodles are hot. Don't rinse your noodles after you drain them. Don't rinse your noodles. Okay. I don't know why it's a big deal, but it kind of is.
Okay.
If you rinse your noodles, not only will it cool them off so that the butter won't stick to them, but also there's no need. It's just boiled in water, right? So you don't want to cool your noodles off. Leave your noodles nice and hot and steamy. Throw that dab of butter in there. Maybe put a little bit of garlic. What is it? Garlic pepper. Yeah. Ground garlic pepper on it. Mix all that up really nice. If you do like your noodles to be a little bit more flavored, I also throw black pepper on my noodles as well, because I like my noodles to be tasty.
Yep. And he's talking about I'm the chef. Look at this guy. He knows what he's doing.
White boy from the mobile home park.
So what I'll do too is that when I boil my noodles, I'll put the butter or a little oil in there. And I'll also, if I have chicken stock left over, I'll boil it in chicken stock. Or I would take some chicken bouillon and sprinkle it inside there too, so my noodles could absorb that chicken flavor.
Yeah.
And then I'll drain it, like you said, all the whole process. And then
and that whole process, you're talking 5 minutes tops with the noodles. You get them to a boil.
Exactly.
You get them to a boil. While your pan that has your sauce and your meat is still simmering on the stovetop, you get it to a boil. You get them soft. You drain them. You put them back in the pot. A little bit of olive oil, a little bit of butter, some pepper, some garlic powder, and just roll with it.
So
mix it up really nice and well. Let it sit for a few minutes, then serve hot.
Yep. So my question is, do you mix your noodles and spaghetti? Thank God. I'm sorry. We agree.
We do agree. we agree on a couple things. I had a girlfriend one time who would do that after the spaghetti and everything was all made. She'd just dump the sauce in with the noodles. I'm like, hun, I like to measure out how much sauce is with my noodles. Yeah. It's a weird thing for me, but also the sauce be mixed in with the noodles. Now your noodles are getting soggier and soggier and soggier the longer they're sitting in that pot, right? Yeah. If you leave the noodles alone in the pot by themselves, they won't absorb all that extra moisture, and your noodles will remain somewhat firm. Exactly. I like to actually be able to eat my noodles, not slurp them.
So Leviticus has been promoted to sous chef of the show. But that's exactly right.
Killer question here. Do you put sugar in the spaghetti sauce?
So here's the thing. I do put sugar in spaghetti sauce depending on how the acidity is in the tomato sauce. Or if I don't want to put sugar, here's the kicker. This is going to blow your mind. I would get carrots, and I would chop up my carrots, and I would saute them in the beginning process with my ground meat, so I could bring the sugar out of the carrots. And the sugar has a natural sugar. I mean, the carrots have natural sugar in it. So when I cook all that together, the sugar from the carrots is actually going to sweeten it up.
Okay. All right. Well, that's in a roundabout way, you got to the correct answer there. The correct answer is yes.
Yes.
Because if you've ever watched The Godfather, there's a scene where he's teaching one of the mobsters is teaching Michael how to cook spaghetti for 12 guys.
Yeah.
And part of his making the sauce proper, he takes a quarter cup of sugar and he dumps it right into the sauce. So if you don't put at least a little bit of sugar in your sauce, if you don't put at least a little bit of sugar in your sauce, you are defying the Godfather.
You got to put sugar in it because the Godfather said so. That's the answer, folks. Put sugar in your spaghetti. Let's go because the Godfather said so.
Yeah, true.
But
you're un-American otherwise.
Exactly. All right, folks. Well, that's it. That's it for today. Just a quick recap: school lunches, prison food, sugar in your spaghetti.
Yeah.
We had an update on Food Not Bombs. It was a great episode. Until next time, Levi, do you have anything else for us?
No. Again, if you observe either Ramadan or Lent, I wish you well in your
Ramadan
spiritual
Kareem.
journey. And I look forward to seeing y'all again in about 2 weeks?
About 2 weeks.
Alrighty.
Let's go.